Hey, what's up, movie fans? I am here with my review of I, Tonya, directed by Craig Gillespie, starring Margot Robbie as Tonya Harding as an adult and as a teenager. It also stars McKenna Grace as a young Tonya, and we see her in her formative years. Allison Janney plays her mom, Lavanya Harding, who is a tough as nails mother and influence who, despite what she says of never abusing her other than hitting her one time, according to Tanya's side of the story, it was a constant stream of abuse throughout her life, throughout her formative years. Speaking of abuse, we also have Sebastian Stan as Greg Gillespie, who plays her boyfriend who became her husband. It's not a victimization story as much as it is explaining different sides. There are some moments with pointing fingers, but it feels like a true to form way of explaining the structure or the lack of structure in the character that is Tonya Harding. Margot Robbie is phenomenal in this role. She completely embodies Tonya Harding. Obviously, there's some sizable differences between the look of her, but she fully invests into this role. Funny enough, I guess she didn't know this is a real story when she was reading the screenplay, and then she looked into it, and wow, she really invested into it. I remember this as it happened. I mean, I was a little boy. I was about eight-ish when this happened, and I remember the "ow my knee" thing. And if you're not familiar with what happened, it's the Nancy Kerrigan was ambushed by, depending on who you ask, whether it was several men or just one man, or it was an orchestrated affair, or it was Tonya Harding herself. She was attacked, and Tonya Harding was basically the fourth out of the nation at one point, but you don't get a medal when you're the fourth. You get it when you're the third, the second, and obviously the first. Nancy was always in the second to first. Well, this kind of documents not just the knee thing, which is the knee thing, which is probably why a lot of people are seeing this movie, but it gives you a tremendous amount of backstory on who Tonya was and is. Paul Walker Hauser is portraying Sean Eckert, who is basically this bumbling best friend of Jeff Gillespie, the husband, and together they create this elaborate ruse that takes it to a whole other level than what Tonya, according to the film, initially thought. They were going to send some death threat notes of that nature. She was not expecting assault, according to this film. Juliana Nicholson plays a phenomenal job as Diane Rollison, who is her coach from basically a soft 4 to, in the mid-20s. And it really is a crux in her life, the one positive constant in her life. In and out of relationship with her husband, it's just a tumultuous thing. The movie is a very dark comedy. It shows brutality. It gives multiple sides to each story that is Tanya's life. Abuse after abuse. There's physical violence, there's retaliation, there's, they don't really get into the drugs per se in this film, but there's a lot of rumors and stuff like that, and you can understand why people have a rough time at things. Starting from a little girl who had a supreme talent, if she had been nurtured potentially by both parents, or at least really well by one parent, with a couple added girls, maybe things would have been considerably different. I really enjoyed the movie. I think there's some solid, really good performances. Margot Robbie, she can do no wrong. I've seen her in numerous films now, and she is just killing it. McKenna Grace, I gotta say, she looks younger than in previous movies that came out like 3 years ago. I wonder if they filmed. I don't know if they used like CG kind of to make her appear a little bit smaller, but she was in what, like the I'm drawing a blank, the movie with Chris Evans. Drawing a blank, but she's in this movie and she did a really good job. You know, she's only in the beginning of it, but heck of a job. I like the black comedy aspect. It's a nice little mix. Cause I was happy that they interspliced it. They didn't make fun of violence against women by any means, but there's a very sarcastic comedy, a black comedy to it, and I appreciate it. Nice little hue, a tone. I would love to know what you guys think. Greg Gillespie, he did Lars and the Real Girl, which I really enjoyed. A very, very like wallflowery type film, and I like this independent neon film. I would love to know what you guys think. Please leave a comment and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think. Do you have a recommendation for another movie to watch? Check out Avoid. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching, and let's talk movies.